The moment Keith Urban stepped off that plane in Los Angeles, people knew something was wrong. This wasn't the confident, charismatic country superstar the world was used to seeing. This was someone carrying a weight deep enough to show through sunglasses, sweatpants, and a forced calm that didn't look like calm at all. One foe, just one, sent fans spiraling online. Keith mid-yawn, shoulders slightly slumped, expression drained like the life had been pulled out of him long before the plane touched down. And suddenly everyone was asking the same question. What happened to Keith Urban? For almost 2 decades, Keith had been part of a Hollywood love story people actually believed in. He and Nicole Kidman were the couple fans pointed to whenever they needed to prove that real love in showbiz still existed. But ever since Nicole filed for divorce, that entire world has come crashing down around him. And at the airport, it showed. He looked like a man trying to walk forward while his past kept dragging at his heels. His outfit was casual, denim jacket, graphic t-shirt, sneakers, but nothing about him looked relaxed. The clothes didn't hide the exhaustion sitting heavy in his posture. The white trucker cap was pulled a little too low, sunglasses covering more than just his eyes. It was almost as if he knew people would be watching, judging, speculating, and he wasn't ready to meet their gaze. Even his hands stayed buried in his pockets, like he was holding himself together in the only way he could. People close to him say the end of his world tour should have been a moment of relief. Months of performing, traveling, living in hotel rooms, finally over. But instead of resting, instead of celebrating, Keith walked straight into the harsh reality of a marriage ending, a home splitting, and a life he no longer recognized. The timing couldn't have been worse. Tour exhaustion mixed with emotional collapse, it showed in every step he took across that tarmac. And the truth is, this wasn't just a tired man. This was someone who looked haunted. Fans noticed immediately. Multiple social media comments echoed the same sentiment. He looks devastated. He's not okay. He looks like he's been crying. And honestly, they weren't wrong. Insiders claim the divorce hit him harder than he ever expected. 19 years is a lifetime in Hollywood. Losing Nicole, someone he's publicly referred to as his rock, his best friend, his biggest supporter, wasn't something he ever imagined. And when she filed the papers in September, it wasn't just a legal move. It was a final line drawn in a place Keith thought was still safe. That LA arrival wasn't just another celebrity sighting. It was the world witnessing a man who looked like he was replaying every decision that brought him to this moment. A man wondering if he'd made a mistake he couldn't take back. And as it turns out, the signs of regret were only beginning to surface. When Nicole Kidman officially filed for divorce on September 30th, the headline alone felt unreal. After 19 years of marriage, nearly 2 decades of red carpet smiles, heartfelt speeches, shared victories, and private struggles, it all came down to one document, one signature, one decision that instantly shattered the image of one of Hollywood's strongest couples. But what most people don't realize is how sudden the moment felt from Keith Urban's side. Even though insiders say the relationship had been strained for months, the timing of the filing hit him like a freight train. Nicole's decision was clean, precise, and controlled, classic Nicole. Sources say she had been preparing herself quietly, emotionally, and legally, knowing the separation would eventually become public. But Keith, he wasn't emotionally ready for that wave. According to insiders, he knew things were difficult, but he didn't expect Nicole to actually file so soon. That gap between knowing something is wrong and watching someone walk away created the shock that people now see written all over his face. The official reason Nicole listed was irreconcilable differences, a phrase that sounds simple but holds a universe of untold stories. And in their case, those differences had been growing beneath the surface for a long time. Their careers pulled them in different directions. Keith spent months on tour, living out of suitcases, feeding off stage energy, while Nicole remained grounded in her film projects, her daughters, and her routine. The physical distance gradually became emotional distance, and even the strongest couple can only handle that for so long. What made it harder was how much of their marriage had been built on support, real, public, visible support. Nicole stood beside Keith through his early struggles, his rehab journey, his rebuilding years. And Keith stood beside her during her career reinvention, awards seasons, and personal hardships. They weren't just spouses, they were each other's anchor. Losing an anchor doesn't happen cleanly. It rips something out of you. When the divorce news broke, fans went into a state of disbelief. The public reaction wasn't gossip-driven, it was shock. People genuinely thought these two would make it to the end. They had weathered career changes, long-distance schedules, and the brutal pressure of fame. If they couldn't survive, what hope did the rest of Hollywood have? But while the world was processing, Keith was unraveling behind the scenes. Sources close to him claim he didn't expect the filing to happen right when it did. It was like the final line was drawn without warning. And once the papers were in motion, everything became real. No turning back, no pause button, no let's talk this out again. That's when the regrets started to creep in. Not because of one fight or one incident, but because 19 years don't disappear overnight. And Keith, according to insiders, suddenly realized the future he'd imagined, growing old with Nicole, watching their daughters flourish, and building a legacy together, was slipping away faster than he could process it. The breakup bombshell wasn't just a headline. It was the moment Keith Urban's entire life took a turn he never saw coming. From the outside, Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman still looked like the couple everyone admired, smiling on red carpets, holding hands at events, appearing perfectly in sync. But behind closed doors, the cracks had been forming for a long time. And while fans were stunned by the divorce announcement, people close to the couple quietly admit that the signs were already there, long before Nicole filed those papers. One of the biggest hints was the growing physical distance between them. For years, their schedules had always been demanding, Keith on tour, Nicole filming across the world, but they still found ways to reconnect. Weekend flights, surprise appearances, late-night FaceTime calls. That effort was part of their love story. But in the last year, something shifted. Those reconnections became less frequent, less natural, and eventually, almost mechanical, as if both were trying to hold onto a routine that no longer felt the same. Multiple insiders claim that sometime early in the year they began quietly living more separate lives, not officially separated, but emotionally drifting. Keith spent increasing amounts of time away, studios, rehearsals, hotels, tour. Meanwhile, Nicole focused more intensely on her daughters and her production projects. Their worlds were moving forward, but not together. It didn't take a major argument or a dramatic blow-up. Sometimes a relationship ends not with fire, but with slow, silent distance. Even their friends noticed subtle changes. Public appearances together became rarer. Their once famous red carpet chemistry seemed replaced by polite smiles, and in interviews both of them started avoiding questions about the future. Keith, normally playful and open, became guarded. Nicole, who usually spoke with ease about family and home life, started choosing her words more carefully. These little shifts didn't mean anything dramatic on their own, but put together, they painted a picture. Something wasn't right. There were also whispers, unconfirmed but persistent, that the two disagreed on life priorities after the pandemic years. Nicole reportedly wanted more stability, more time grounded with family, while Keith thrived on the road, performing, creating, chasing music. Neither was wrong, but sometimes, two people grow in different directions without realizing how far they've drifted until it's too late. Fans noticed another clue without even realizing it: the silence. For months leading up to the divorce, both Keith and Nicole stopped sharing personal moments online. No anniversary posts, no casual behind-the-scenes photos, no small, intimate glimpses into their home life, something they had always done in gentle, subtle ways. It was as if they were slowly pulling back from a story they knew was ending. And when the official announcement finally came, everything suddenly made sense. The distance, the muted smiles, the separate routines, the lack of public warmth. The emotional exhaustion Keith began showing, it all connected. The truth is, the split didn't happen overnight. It was the result of months, maybe years, of quiet disconnection, unspoken frustrations, and two lives slowly moving apart. But the real shock wasn't that the split happened. It was how deeply it affected Keith once he realized he couldn't fix it anymore. And that emotional fallout. It was about to hit him harder than anyone expected. Divorce isn't just emotional, it's practical, financial, and in the case of celebrities, highly scrutinized. For Keith Urban, the reality of separating from Nicole Kidman isn't just heartbreak. It's also navigating legal agreements, parenting schedules, and the very public cost of splitting lives that have been intertwined for nearly 2 decades. And in Hollywood, splitting can come with a price tag that's impossible to ignore. Nicole reportedly requested primary residential custody of their 2 daughters, Sunday, 17, and Faith, 14. That doesn't mean Keith will disappear from their lives, far from it. But it does shift the logistics of parenting. Court-approved schedules, school routines, extracurricular activities, and travel all need coordination. And while fans imagine a simple handoff between 2 loving parents, insiders hint that the reality is far more complex. Keith, who has been touring and performing almost constantly, now faces a lifestyle overhaul to ensure he remains present for his daughters. Every weekend, every holiday, every school break becomes a logistical puzzle, one that he must solve while simultaneously managing a career that keeps him on the move. Then there's the financial side of things. Celebrity divorces are rarely straightforward. Sources report that Keith has taken on high-paying private gigs, including exclusive performances, to cover expenses related to the separation. Divorce lawyers, financial advisors, and legal settlements aren't cheap, and for someone like Keith, keeping up appearances while protecting his financial interests can be exhausting. Unlike the average person who may pay for a lawyer once, celebrities are dealing with long-term, ongoing costs. Every private concert, every endorsement, every public appearance becomes more than a career move. It's a strategic way to balance emotional and financial obligations. Meanwhile, Nicole seems to have approached this chapter differently. Sources say she was mentally preparing for the public announcement months in advance, focusing on her daughters and her ongoing projects. Her approach has been deliberate. Minimize the chaos, maintain privacy where possible, and prioritize what matters most. A recent Thanksgiving with family, for example, demonstrated that Nicole has found a way to mark new beginnings with gratitude, focusing on closeness with her children rather than the media storm surrounding the split. But for Keith, these responsibilities collide with his own emotional journey. Balancing a new co-parenting arrangement while managing career demands, financial pressures, and public scrutiny is overwhelming. Insiders say he feels isolated, sometimes questioning the very choices that brought him here. And yet, there is no easy escape. Each private performance he takes, each tour stop, each carefully managed public appearance is part of an intricate balancing act, one that demands both stamina and strategy. In many ways, this section of their story reveals the hidden costs of celebrity divorce. Beyond headlines and social media speculation, it's about juggling family, finances, and emotions in a life that is constantly on display. Keith's exhaustion isn't just emotional, it's structural. And understanding this side of the split adds layers to a story that fans often reduce to gossip headlines. The divorce isn't just a personal loss. It's a logistical, financial, and emotional storm Keith has to navigate daily. And as the world watches, one question lingers. Is he managing to hold it all together, or is the pressure about to overwhelm him? For all the glamour, lights, and applause, fame cannot shield anyone from heartbreak. And for Keith Urban, the end of his marriage to Nicole Kidman has been an emotional storm that even his music couldn't soothe. Sources close to him describe a man grappling not just with separation, but with deep regret, questioning whether walking away from a relationship he once called his soulmate was the right choice. The reality of being alone after 19 years hits differently when the world is watching. Every airport appearance, every private gig, every candid photo is magnified, dissected, and shared. Keith's exhaustion is not just physical, it's emotional and psychological. Fans have noticed how he looks drained, often sporting sunglasses and caps pulled low, as if hiding from both cameras and his own thoughts. Behind that public exterior, insiders say he feels a profound sense of loss. One source revealed that the first Thanksgiving apart from Nicole was especially difficult. While the actress spent the holiday with her daughters and family, Keith was reportedly isolated, reflecting on what he has lost. The holiday, which should have been a joyful family gathering, instead became a mirror of absence, a stark reminder that his life had shifted dramatically. He's exhausted, isolated, and looking at a future he never imagined, one insider said. He's also lost his best friend, Nicole, who was his greatest supporter in life. He's wondering if he's made a huge mistake. It's not unusual for anyone to feel regret after a major life decision, but for someone whose life has always been highly public, the pressure intensifies. Keith's choices are scrutinized, his mistakes become headlines, and even moments of vulnerability are fodder for speculation. According to reports, he's been questioning whether the separation was worth the pain, wondering if the excitement of touring, performing, and independence could ever outweigh losing a partner who truly understood him. Music has long been Keith's outlet, a way to process emotions and share them with the world. Yet even in songwriting, he faces a challenge, turning personal anguish into art while maintaining privacy and dignity. The songs may echo the heartbreak, but no melody can fully erase the ache of regret, the gnawing feeling of what might have been. Adding to this emotional burden is the logistical reality of post-divorce life. High-paying private gigs, travel, and career commitments provide income and distraction, but they also keep him away from home and the opportunity to fully heal. Each performance becomes both a necessity and a reminder of how much has changed. Keith is caught in a balancing act, honoring his professional obligations while trying to reconcile with his emotional truth. The public sees a superstar performing, smiling, engaging, the Keith Urban everyone knows. But behind the scenes, the story is different. A man wrestling with loss, questioning decisions, and confronting a future that suddenly feels uncertain. Fans may see headlines, but the personal struggle is far more profound, painting a picture of vulnerability rarely seen on stage or screen. And while the world speculates, one thing is clear. Keith Urban is navigating one of the most challenging chapters of his life, a chapter defined by regret, resilience, and the unspoken reality of heartbreak under the spotlight. After the emotional storm of his divorce, Keith Urban has been trying to find his footing, both professionally and personally. Sources reveal that he has taken on several high-paying private performances, including exclusive shows for select clients, to manage financial pressures arising from the separation. But these gigs aren't just about money. They're also a way for him to stay immersed in his first love, music, while the world around him changes dramatically. Performing has always been Keith's sanctuary. The stage, the crowd, the music, these elements create a bubble where the pressures of life temporarily fade. Yet this time, even on stage, there's a different energy. Insiders note that Keith's expressions during performances sometimes reveal flashes of vulnerability, a subtle reflection of the emotional weight he carries. Fans who attend his concerts sense it, an authenticity that comes not just from music, but from a man navigating deep personal upheaval while giving his all to the audience. Keith's post-divorce routine is a careful balance. Tour, rehearsals, and private shows occupy most of his schedule, leaving little time for introspection. But when he's off stage, he reportedly spends time reflecting on the changes in his life. He's adjusting to new parenting schedules, ensuring he remains present for his daughters while juggling career demands. According to sources, every decision, from accepting a new private gig to traveling for a performance, is weighed against both financial needs and emotional consequences. This constant balancing act underscores how challenging it is to maintain stability in a life suddenly transformed by divorce. Despite the turmoil, there are signs of resilience. Keith continues to write and produce music, sometimes drawing on his experiences for inspiration. Fans speculate that his upcoming songs may reflect the heartbreak, regret, and hope he's experiencing, offering a raw and honest glimpse into his emotional journey. Music, in many ways, remains his most powerful outlet, a way to process feelings that are otherwise difficult to articulate publicly. At the same time, Keith's friends and insiders note that he's trying to maintain some semblance of normalcy. Simple routines, family dinners, casual meetups, and quiet moments at home provide grounding amidst the whirlwind of work and public scrutiny. These moments, although small, are crucial for healing and finding clarity about the next chapter of his life. Meanwhile, the media and fans continue to speculate about his next steps. Rumors of new relationships, potential collaborations, and shifts in career focus abound, though insiders caution that much of it is speculative. Keith himself remains private about his personal life, preferring to focus on music, family, and gradual recovery. Ultimately, this chapter of Keith Urban's life is about more than divorce headlines. It's about navigating emotional fallout, redefining priorities, and finding ways to move forward without losing oneself. Each performance, each private gig, and each quiet reflection represents a step toward rebuilding stability and embracing life beyond a 19-year marriage. As the world watches, Keith Urban's journey serves as a reminder that even celebrities face profound challenges, and that resilience, music, and careful balance can help guide anyone through life's toughest transitions. When news of Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman's split went public, the reaction was immediate and overwhelming. Social media exploded with posts, comments, and threads speculating about what went wrong, how each was coping, and what the future might hold. Fans who had once idolized the couple were suddenly left trying to piece together a story that had remained private for months. The combination of shock, admiration, and curiosity created a perfect storm for rumors to thrive. Some of the earliest chatter centered on Keith himself. Fans noticed his drained airport appearance, his subdued social media posts, and fewer candid photos with Nicole or their children. This fueled speculation that he might be regretting the divorce or even reconsidering decisions he had already made. Headlines like "Keith Urban regrets leaving Nicole Kidman" and "Is he second-guessing the split?" circulated widely, though insiders caution that such claims are largely speculative. At the same time, Nicole's composure during public appearances also captured attention. While Keith appeared visibly exhausted, Nicole focused on family, attending events with her daughters, and even celebrating Thanksgiving with close relatives in a joyful, picture-perfect outing. This contrast, Keith struggling visibly while Nicole appeared calm and collected, sparked discussions online about the dynamics of their breakup. Fans debated whether Nicole's level-headed approach was strategic, emotional, or a combination of both, creating a buzz that continues to drive engagement. Rumors didn't stop at emotions and appearances. Speculation about new relationships, potential reconciliations, and lifestyle changes became hot topics. Unverified reports hinted at Keith possibly exploring new romantic interests, while others suggested Nicole might be focusing entirely on her career and daughters. In the age of social media, every public smile, concert appearance, and Instagram post became evidence to analyze, dissect, and debate. Interestingly, some rumors took a lighter, almost playful tone. For example, Nicole's appearance at pop star Sabrina Carpenter's Nashville concert, where she was jokingly arrested on stage, sparked fan discussions about her moving on and embracing life post-divorce. Social media users interpreted the playful moment as a symbol of Nicole reclaiming joy, while simultaneously prompting speculation about Keith's next move. These moments, small but highly visible, help fans feel connected to the story, fueling endless discussion threads. The public reaction demonstrates a broader phenomenon. Celebrity relationships are never just personal matters. They become shared narratives. Fans feel invested in every twist, every public appearance, and every emotional cue. In Keith and Nicole's case, decades of fame, media coverage, and high-profile moments have made the world feel like a spectator to their lives. This constant attention amplifies every emotion, every rumor, and every misstep. For Keith, this scrutiny adds an extra layer of challenge. Navigating grief, regret, and emotional recovery is difficult enough in private. Doing so under the microscope of global fan attention is another level entirely. Yet, insiders suggest that he's aware of this, choosing private moments carefully, performing selectively, and focusing on his music and family as anchors amid speculation. Ultimately, the fan reaction and rumor mill highlight one undeniable truth. The story of Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman captivates not just because of fame, but because it touches on universal themes, love, heartbreak, and the struggle to move forward. And as the world watches, every gesture, post, and performance adds fuel to the ongoing conversation, keeping audiences hooked on what comes next. As the dust settles on Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman's 19-year marriage, the question on everyone's mind is simple. What happens next? But the answer is far from simple. Divorce, especially in the glare of fame, is more than a legal separation. It's a journey of self-discovery, healing, and redefining one's place in the world. For Keith, every decision now carries weight. How he performs, how he parents, and how he begins to rebuild a life reshaped by loss. Insiders suggest that Keith is taking deliberate steps to regain equilibrium. Private gigs, tour, and creative projects are not just professional obligations. They are lifelines, a way to stay connected to the music that has defined him for decades. Music becomes both therapy and expression, allowing him to channel the intense emotions of heartbreak, regret, and hope into something tangible. Every note, every performance is a small step toward reclaiming stability, proving that even under immense pressure, resilience is possible. At the same time, Keith is navigating the complexities of co-parenting. Sharing custody of Sunday and Faith requires careful scheduling, emotional presence, and patience, qualities that are tested when the parent in question is balancing a high-profile career. Yet sources reveal that he is committed to being there for his daughters, attending events, helping with school, and maintaining moments of normalcy despite the chaos of post-divorce life. These daily efforts underscore a reality that is often invisible to the public. Behind the headlines and speculation, he is prioritizing what truly matters. Nicole, meanwhile, appears to be embracing her next chapter with focus and grace. Her public appearances, family gatherings, and calm handling of custody arrangements signal a clear intent. Move forward, protect her children, and continue building her life and career on her own terms. The contrast between her measured composure and Keith's visible struggle has fueled media and fan discussion. But it also highlights a universal truth. Each person experiences the end of a relationship differently. Fans and the media will continue to speculate. Who will find love first? What will their next projects be? Will there ever be reconciliation? While rumors will swirl, the reality is personal and private. Both Keith and Nicole are learning, adapting, and moving forward, each in their own way, guided by the lessons of the past and the hope of the future. Ultimately, this story goes beyond celebrity gossip. It is a reflection of human vulnerability, the consequences of major life choices, and the universal search for balance after heartbreak. Keith Urban's journey reminds us that even those who live under the spotlight are not immune to regret, exhaustion, or the struggle to rebuild. It also reminds us that resilience, creativity, and the love for family can guide anyone through life's most challenging chapters. As the cameras fade and the stage lights dim, one thought remains. Life moves forward, no matter how painful the present feels. For Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman, this is more than a divorce. It is the start of new chapters, filled with uncertainty, possibility, and the hope that even after heartbreak, life can still be extraordinary. And as fans watch from the sidelines, they are reminded of one truth that resonates far beyond Hollywood. The journey of healing, growth, and rediscovery is universal, even for the brightest stars. Keith Urban's story is more than a celebrity divorce headline. It's a glimpse into the reality of loss, regret, and rebuilding life after long-term love ends. From exhausted airport arrivals to private gigs, emotional reflection, and the delicate balance of co-parenting, every moment paints a picture of a man facing the consequences of his choices while striving to move forward. Nicole Kidman's calm, focused approach reminds viewers that healing comes in different forms, and sometimes grace is the most powerful response to change. The contrast between them, one visibly struggling, the other steady and composed, isn't just tabloid fodder. It's a lesson in human resilience, perspective, and the unpredictable nature of life. For fans and viewers, the story serves as a reminder. Even the brightest stars face heartbreak, uncertainty, and emotional turbulence. What matters is how you respond, adapt, and find a way to keep moving forward. Keith's journey shows that even in moments of doubt and regret, there is space for healing, creativity, and hope. And as the cameras fade and the headlines settle, one thought lingers. Life is full of unexpected twists, but it also offers opportunities to rediscover yourself, rebuild your world, and embrace the next chapter with courage. So the next time you see a superstar like Keith Urban on stage or in the spotlight, remember, behind every performance is a story of struggle, resilience, and the human heart trying to find its way.